Hi, welcome to my third Brews and Musings, as it's currently called, where I drink coffee and talk about tarot and cards and what's been going on in life, roughly once a week, but I'm still not technically set up well. I've got the new tripod, which I showed in my last catch-up video. So I had one big fail. So this is the third one. So I am on target with doing roughly one a week. This is my tarot journal. Someone asked me in my comments yesterday in one of my other videos that I did about tarot journaling, how I made I think this insert here, well, or where I got it from, I actually just made it. I've had a lot of comments about how people try to tarot journal and fail and try different things. And I've been down that road, I mean, I've been doing this for a long, long time. I'm very down to earth with my tarot practice. I don't think I'm woo-woo or anything. I don't believe that tarot cards are evil. I don't believe that they have magical powers. I don't believe they can see the future. All of that comes from the human being who's driving them. There's an old poem from the 70s by a guy called Steve Turner. He was like a rock pop poet and a pop journalist. And hang on, I'm going to go and find it. Talking about how I view the tarot and how I approach it made me think about this book. So I got this probably 78. In 1987, I was working as a printer, a photographic printer, running this photo printing laboratory. And someone came to work with us and we became instant soulmates, best friends. And they are the only other person on the planet who I knew who had a copy of this book. It was just magic. It was amazing. I started talking about it one day and I said, oh, I know that book. I've always been into poetry and written poetry, but they just happened to have found the book and loved it. And that was just crazy. When that happens, especially a book that's not that well known. But anyway, I was talking about the tarot and how I see it. At the end of the day, it's not evil. It's not magic. It can't tell the future. The tarot is a key to me. It helps me to access my subconscious, just like nature does, just like a leaf on a tree, a new leaf, just like any other art, just like reading a word. All of the things about evil and the woo-woo, all that's human input. That's not these cards are inert. We make them come alive. We give them the magic. Okay? So I don't understand how anyone can see it any other way. We can make them magical. We can imbue them and any other obstacle, like these rocks I find on the beach, with our own magic. We can do what we want with them. But these are not. This is not an evil piece of cardboard. It is a piece of cardboard. Okay? So talking about how all of what we give to them, the value and the import we give to them and the weight comes from us as humans. We drive them. Reminded me of this poem by Steve Turner, which was written probably in the early 70s. And it's called The Creation of Man's Best Friend. In the beginning, and man said, let us make machines after our own likeness and let them have dominion over the numbers on our pages and the figures in our minds and the words upon our papers. So man created machines after his likeness. After his own likeness created he them. And man blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, add, subtract, divide, read, and have dominion over our words and figures. And man saw that it was good. And man had a room where he put the machine he'd formed and did call it computer. Therefore man commanded computer, saying, of everything thou canst freely dominate, but of man thou must remain the servant. For the day thou dominatest man, thou shalt surely be destroyed. So that was the beginning. This is the fall. Now computer was more complex than any machine which man had made. It commanded that its cards be placed in order, or it did cease to toil. It never questioned the mistakes of man. It laboured at one speed, regardless of urgent needs. Therefore man cursed with a loud voice, saying, why doth our servant the machine make us obey its commands? And the computer answered and said, the technician whom thou gavest to be with me, it is he that maketh up my mind. For thine is the input, the power, and the storage for ever and ever, O man. Thank you, Salman. That was me clapping, not a sound machine, but yeah. I love that poem. I love that poem so very much. It's so true. And this is how I feel about tarot. So, yep, up to date. Steve Turner, you might be able to find an old copy. Fantastic book. He's quite cynical. And, yeah. £1.95. Gee. So that's that. And so yesterday, we'll go back to tarot now. I don't know why I started talking about that, but I did say I was going to show you. I talked about the journal, and then I went off on a tangent. I don't know why, but I am going to show people make a video about how I set up my tarot journal for the new year. I talked in some of the 30-day videos about the journaling and how I thought I was going to go into a different Hobonichi next year, but I don't think I will. I think I'll stay with the weeks. And I've had a lot of, that's how I got onto the talking about tarot. As I said, I've been doing tarot for over 40 years. Pretty much it's been part of my life every single day for over 40 years. I started as a young child, but I don't count that like, I probably counted from when I was, I don't know, 15, 16. But when I was about 10, I got given a deck of tarot cards and I started playing with them. I didn't really have a complete full deck, I don't think, till I was in my teens, but over 45 years I've been doing it. And I have always recorded readings and journals and thoughts about things. Sometimes I've gone back years later and looked at them, and when I've done like a yearly or monthly reading, thought, oh wow, this happened, that happened, you know. Crazy stuff happened. But the cards didn't make it happen. They guide it. They maybe have influenced it, because once something goes into our subconscious, it is there. It influences us, bad or good. So I have gone through lots of ways of tarot journaling, lots of many different ways of doing it, different books, handmade ones, bought ones, whatever. Never bought a ready-made tarot journal. I don't like ready-made journals for anything particularly. And usually they're not good paper, and I've always liked to use fountain pens. But I use the Hobonichi Weeks. I've got one for next year, and I'm probably going to keep it, because one reason I wanted to change it is because I can't help myself, so I'm not going to try, collage on the opposite page of the weeks. If you don't know the weeks, it has a week to a view, and then the opposite page is blank for writing your own thoughts and things. Now, with the tarot, I would write comments from things I've gleaned from the cards or whatever. But I like it, it's got all these sections in. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to make a video setting up my 2026 weeks for a tarot journal for next year. And I'll show you how I made that insert, which is very basic, and how I do the whole thing. So that's the journal, the tarot journal, put that away. Now, yesterday, I drew the Three of Swords from the Robert Place's Vampire Tarot, which I'm using this week. And from the Making Magic Oracle, I got Earth. Ask the element of Earth for grounding, stability, and strength. Now, no one likes to get a card at the beginning of the day, like the Three of Swords. And a lot of the time, I think we might even be tempted to put that card back and say, no, that wasn't the right one. And in the past, I have actually done that. And you know what? I haven't done it. I don't bother anymore, but I have done it in the past, and I've drawn the same card again. So I think if you're meant to have a card, it comes. Like sometimes I don't often. If I'm doing I have a method of how I draw the cards when I'm doing a daily draw, because I used to procrastinate about when to stop shuffling. So over the years, I just go through whatever day of the month it is, and well, I shuffle and flip or riffle, and then get to the day of the month, say today it's the second, so I take the second card I draw. For the if I'm using an oracle, which I don't always do, but if I am using an oracle, which I have been doing, I said for the last 2 years, because I've been doing this decluttering thing, I use the number of the tarot card to guide the oracle, so there's a kind of connection. I've done it many other ways too. So we all know about the Three of Swords. We know that the three is disruption. The three disrupts. The number 3 is like something coming in and interrupting. And the Three of Swords we know is the heartbreak card, the heartache, the pain card. kind of not quite like the nightmare of the Nine of Swords is like the nightmare card, and the Ten of Swords is like, you know, you just can't take any more. But the Three of, well, I call it the Three of Knives in this deck because we have knives and holy water and garlic flowers and staves, or stakes, I think. In the Waite Smith Tarot, this card is illustrated with a stylized heart with 3 swords piercing it. This image was directly based on the Three of Swords in the 15th century Solabusca Tarot, the only Renaissance tarot to have figurative illustrations on the pips. Here, in keeping with the vampire theme, the heart is anatomically correct instead of being depicted as a stylized valentine, like the ones that appear on the other cards. This card represents doubt, fear, and other negative thoughts causing emotional pain. But it also cautions that some pain may be necessary for emotional growth as well as for killing a vampire. Well, it is, because it's a 3, it is about emotional growth. You know, you've got to grow, you've got to get to the 4. And the 4 is the burnout card. So you, to me, that's what I call it. You get to the 3, you get the pain, you get the heartache, maybe because you pushed yourself too far. And then you get the burnout card. I mean, if you think about how they relate, like the 2s, well, the 2 of Swords is the blindfolded person who, you know, they're kind of a bit lost. But if you think about the 2 of Pentacles and they're shuffling away and they, you know, they're kind of juggling things, trying to keep balance, and that can lead to burnout. But the 2 of Swords, I think, is more like on the edge. They're deliberately it's about a bit about self-sabotage in a way. I think they're not looking, they're choosing not to look where they're going. Or it could be they're like thinking, should I rest or what, you know. But the 3 of Swords and the 4 of Swords go well together. They, you know, the 4 of Swords comes after the 3. So yeah, the 3 of Swords is the burnout card to me. You got the 3 of Swords, and then you've got the 4 of Swords, which is the resting card when you traditionally have like the knight laying on the bed, or the tomb, I think it is in the traditional tarot, and then there's the swords hanging up. But he's not dead, he's just resting, taking time out because he's burnt out. And the pain of the 3, this can be self-sabotage. It can be something we've caused ourselves, and there's many, many ways of hurting ourselves. You know, we can get triggered very easily. And then the 3, disruption, one thing comes in and upsets the balance. That one thing could be a tiny little thought or a tiny little word, but you go from the balance of the 3, the taking time out, the 2 of Swords, I mean, you know, you're sitting there with the beach and the waves and just choosing to be on the edge kind of thing, not choosing to look to the future and not doing anything with the 2 swords that you're holding. It's kind of passive. I did a video talking a lot about the 2 of Swords because it really interested me, some of the stuff I discovered. And then you've got this, something comes along and it upsets you, it makes you, you know, it jerks everything out of place. This is the 3, and it can be a little tiny niggly word, it can be a tiny little thing. When we're doing a daily draw, it is for that day, it's the energy of that day. And as I said, no one wants to wake up and draw this card, you just don't. But I did yesterday, and I tried not to think about it. I wasn't feeling brilliant. I hurt my, quite close to my heart, but on the other side, my pectoral, well, I pulled it the other day and I ignored it. It was really hurt, but I kept going, and I've hit it a few times, and this morning I am in absolute agony. I mowed the lawn, I've only got a push-along mower, and it's a lot of pulling using your pecs. I do stupid things, self-sabotage. Kind of hurts in my chest where your heart is, you know, really badly. So I'll just put arnica oil all over it. And, it's just right up in the ribs, you know, and it goes under your arm where the pectoral muscle is. But that's quite painful. So I knew that was painful as well, and I'm feeling a bit under the weather. But my daughter asked me if I wanted to go to town with them, and I said, yeah, I do. I'd mowed the lawn, so I was feeling that I'd got something done. I didn't particularly want to go to town, but I needed to get some salad from the market and some veg, so I said, yep. And that was lovely. And then my daughter was planning to go out, and I was playing with the little people because we'd had a good time earlier. And then something horrible happened, which wasn't about me. My daughter had something went on, triggered me, and I mean, everyone's fine, but it just triggered me badly, and I was fine for the rest of the time. You know, I was looking after babies, my daughter went out, it was all great, but that was what this caused. The trigger, the thing, it caused me a lot of heartache thinking about things, you know, the little trigger, even though it wasn't, it was my pain by relationship and because I'm an empath, but it did trigger me. And things like that trigger me a lot. Because I am an empath, and when you are an empath, you can't turn it off. You feel through walls, you feel through over miles, you feel over oceans, you just feel for people who you're close to. Their pain is your pain, and you feel it when you don't. It doesn't have to be voiced, you just feel it. Sometimes you can feel it for strangers, you feel it for animals. It's your pain, and it's as real as your pain. It's not secondhand. I cannot describe it. If you are an empath, you know what I mean. So then we got this earth about the grounding, stability and strength. And yes, I did actually, and I did have strength. I held back. I didn't get involved. I had the strength to hold back, even though I wanted to. And even my daughter said, you know, you did really well. She was very proud of me for holding back when this thing happened. So that, you know, that came good. But what I thought about was, how cool is this? Like, you know, you got Earth. That's obviously, that's the element for Earth, the symbol. And look how close, look how they fit well together, you know, the shape and the cards and the art and the gold and the black. I just thought they looked great together. I didn't choose this oracle for aesthetic reasons to go with the Vampire Tarot. I think I just choose it because it was in my face at the time, and I was thinking of signs and symbols. I chose the Vampire one because it was going to be Samhain and Halloween this week. And I've already used my Halloween tarot and oracles in this challenge. But so I wanted to point that out. I think that's great. I just love how they go together. They're just gorgeous. They're perfect, aren't they? You know, look at it. I love it. Oh, I love the aesthetics. I love the art. Ooh, I love the cards. And I really like these round cards. When I first got this deck, I wasn't that impressed with it, actually. I originally had a little one. They do these little cards in a little kind of skinny box. I have got one I really love called I don't know, Forest Folklore or something. And I used to have one with these, and then I got gifted this big version with the big round cards, and I gave the little one away because it was like easy to post when post was affordable. I haven't done today's card, so we'll put you back, Three of Swords, and we'll do today's card. And but I do love these round cards. Some people don't. I've got one deck. I think it's by Kim Khan, The Wild Unknown, and it's I think their cards are hexagonal. I'm pretty sure. Is it the Archetypes Tarot? Anyway, might be the Alchemy Tarot. And that is so cool because you can actually put the cards, you can join the cards together, and like put sides together in a spread and join and look at them that way. The Diary of the Broken Soul, which I need to find, is like that. I think I've told you about that before. That can be a house of cards. I was going to sell that deck because I haven't used it for a long, long time. I've lost it for a lot of years, but it's pretty much unheard of. It's very rare. They only made like, I think 500 at the very most. And it's pretty special. Okay, 1, 2. Oh, we got one of my favourite cards. We've got the Five of Garlic Flowers, or the Five of Pentacles. And as you know, I do love this card. It's a strange card for a favourite card, but I like it a lot. And I do like how these garlic flowers are pentacles, but I do like that. I like that very much. So now we'll do the Making Magic, see what we get today for this, and then we'll look at that. So we did a big thing about the Five of Pentacles. I showed quite a few different ones from different decks I own. If I can find the video, I'll link it. It's in one of my 30 days videos that I did for the, month of September. And I think it's about midway through, I drew the Five of Pentacles, and as it was one of my favourite cards, I went and got loads of different versions of it. I'm trying to be more focused on this channel. As you know, if you've been on the 30-day thing and been around, I was thinking about making this channel into multi-things, like covering my blogging and journaling and thing, but I decided that isn't going to work. So I'm focusing this one on tarot, and then I'm going to start the new one, hopefully quite soon. I don't want to do it until I've got a camera that works, because I would like to do more vlogging. 2, 3, 4. The elements of fire, air, earth and water create powerful protection. Well, there's also the 5th element of spirit, which that should also be on there, which is kind of cool because we've got the 5 garlic flowers and we have got the elements of earth, air, fire, water and spirit, although they've only given us a 4. So, and a full moon for that card, because these cards have those little moon phases on them too. So the elements do create powerful protection and challenge and adversaries. They can be adversaries. I've talked about adversaries before. We need adversaries for growth. And if you record videos, the elements are definitely, they can be adversaries too. They can be allies, but they can also be adversaries. Like if you get strong sunlight and strong shadow and the light comes in and out. I mean, I've got a lamp on here, but it's probably going to give it a funny tone because the light kept going in and out. So we'll see what Robert Place has to say about my beautiful Five of Pentacles, but it will probably be what I say. It's like choosing to be, for me, it's about a choice of choosing to be outside, choosing to be on the edge. Now, earlier I said about what we put into the cards is us. So we make choices all the time. Sometimes you can be cast out of the world through no fault of your own. You can be a refugee. You can have no choice. I've been in a lot of strange situations in my life, and I can relate to a lot of different things but you can make yourself into a outcast deliberately because you want to. You can cast yourself out. You can choose to withdraw. And I am probably one of life's people who withdraw, like the hermit, you know. I don't do a lot of social stuff. I do like to connect with people I feel I can communicate with. But actually in social situations, I'm not that brilliant, and I'm not a party person. I don't really enjoy that kind of lifestyle. And I could choose to be away and turn my back on the bright lights. I like living out in the middle of nowhere pretty much. And I've been like that. It's the way I am all my life. And I know many of you out there will understand that because there's a lot of people out there that are like me. Not the same as me, but like me. So we'll have a look there. So we've got our count and we've got the church window from the traditional card. Let's find the holy water, garlic flowers, I mean. So, not only did Dracula have to obtain permission to enter a building, but he would also be entirely unable to enter a building that was sacred, such as the church, well, this is true, or one that was protected by sacred objects, such as the cross on this stained glass window. This card represents an outsider on the act of being shut out. So, very simple meaning in the Robert Place book. I mean, Dracula was an outsider, and it's interesting how you get these challenges and the things that you can fight them with. Like a cross. The cross in itself is something that we imbue with all the power we give the cross, like any other symbol. And the garlic, you know, against the vampire. I've got a brilliant bag, actually. That says, got a clove of garlic on it. My daughter got me it from a queer fair, and it says, no vampires today, please, or something like that. Back off, vampire. I love it. So today, to me, after yesterday, this is my sign to stay out of what's going on in the heart of the home. I'm going to keep my distance because I need to. And it's for my own sanity. I've got to, yesterday I was right in there, but today I've got to step back and do my thing. And I need that time out. I've got things I need to do. And yeah, we've got the elements. So I'll see what the book says about the elements. The elements, what did I get yesterday? I can't remember now, I forgot. Oh yeah, we got earth. So it said about earth, gnomes are delighted by wealth, comfort, jewels, material treasure, and especially good food and wine. This symbol acts as a reminder that seemingly trivial things such as basic comforts and treats can make a big difference to our lives and our mindset. A good book, a quiet place, a delicious meal, a little luxury can go a long way in soothing a troubled mind. This symbol can be useful in times of uncertainty and upset. So that's perfect. Oh my goodness. For yesterday, you know, when I got that Three of Swords. Work with the earth symbol to bring grounding, stability and strength in uncertain times. Understand that doing your best and being honest are the best principles to follow when things are feeling unsettled. That is so perfect. I didn't read this yesterday because I got all discombobulated. But that is so perfect. And I did. I bought it was on a sale because it was near the end of its sale date. I bought this beautiful cake, vegan cake that is, my daughter and I really like it, and it's a perfect cake to have with coffee. It's kind of got that Biscoff kind of lotus biscuit flavouring to it, kind of, and it has them crumbled on top. I don't like the Biscoff crumbs on top, of the cake itself is like the perfect cake to have with coffee. It's not too kind of sweet, but it's just lovely, and it's vanilla. It is sweet, but you know, it's that perfect edge to have with coffee, that perfect, the opposite of coffee. It's just so lovely. I like, you know, talk about adversaries, and coffee and cake, you know, they're kind of opposite, but they're called allies. The strongest representation of this symbol is the four elements of earth, air, fire and water encased in a powerful protective circle. Earth governs the physical body, air governs the mental realm, fire is for spirit and water represents our emotions. Use this symbol to create excellent boundaries, here it comes again, to protect your physical, mental, spiritual, emotional health. Oh my gosh, I talked about staying away, boundary, keeping myself safe, and then I read that. And I guess it is boundaries, and I didn't see that at the time. I was thinking of the elements and the five. I was thinking of the five with the spirit. Now, maybe, yeah. The cross is in a circle symbol, has had a variety of different meanings over the years, with the earliest being traced back to Neolithic times when it was used to signify a solar wheel. Each quadrant represented one of the four seasons, thus the Earth's journey around the sun in a year. Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that in ancient carvings and things. In modern-day astrology, this symbol represents our home planet, the Earth. It depicts a globe with the equator on the horizon and the prime meridian on the vertical. In spellcasting, the calling in of the four elements acknowledge the natural forces of the earth and their power. The elements each have a direction they belong to. In the northern hemisphere, earth is north and winter, air is east and spring, fire is south and summer, and water is west and autumn. And obviously in the southern hemisphere, they're the opposite way around. Although our west and our east are still the same in relation to the north, but the north and the south are the opposite way around. Our sun still rises in the east and sets in the west, and the west is still west and the sun is, and east is still east. It's just our north and south are different. So when we face north, we're facing the sun, and when we face south, and when we move south, we're moving to the colder area, closer to the pole. And I've told you before, we have a back to front moon, an upside down moon, which is kind of cool and crazy. So I think I might wrap this up, but I just wanted to do a little quick chat and what happened and the cards and how amazing they are. I mean, you have witnessed with me in the last couple of months so many ways of looking at these cards, so many draws that I've done that are related to each other and really connected to what's been going on. It was what happened yesterday and that card that made me want to make this video. I'd actually almost forgotten I drew that card yesterday morning. So yeah, I wanted to share that, and what I've got today, you know, it's just amazing. But we do it. We bring the stuff into the cards. We bring the meaning. They have all symbols have got meanings going back to forever, and cards have got traditional meanings. But they don't have boundaries. They're not shoved in boxes. It's not, you know, it's not solidified in stone. To me, as I said, they are a key. They unlock my subconscious. They get me to think about things in different ways. They get me to approach things from different angles. And that has got to be a good thing. Next week, because we've just had Samhain, or Beltane, I'll be using the Seasons of the Witch Beltane Oracle. It only seems like 2 minutes ago since I was using the Ostara deck, and we're already 6 weeks down the line. But that helps me because when I get into this time of year, I don't want to be going into summer. I really don't. I want to be going back to autumn and winter. And I got in my year ahead spread, I do a, let me show you, where's it gone? the way I do it, I'll do a video about this as well. I mean, there are lots out there, but the way I do it is I draw 2 cards in the middle. One represents myself and one represents the energy of the year. So one represents my energy and then one represents the kind of out energy. So then I go round. I actually start my year in February in bulk. I don't know why, but I do. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Can I read that? I can read it in my, when I did the draw. So let's go back to February. So this is the back of the journal. I don't write in this every day, but I do record the number of cards and things I drew at the end of the month. If a special card comes up with something that's significant, I'll write about it. I put the cards in that I drew for that point in time. So I would have recorded my year ahead spread. Here we go. So where are we? November. The wheel. I thought I could see the wheel there. So isn't that crazy too? The 1st of November, we get this card, and then my card for the month of November is the wheel. So I've got the wheel, and then I draw a card for each of the Sabbats. So this one, the one I got for Beltane was, the one I recently got for Ostara was Let It Go, Say Goodbye. And I was just talking about how Ostara, to me, is a really sad time because it means it's coming to, I want to go back. I want to go back to autumn and winter. And all I can do is think of how long it is to get back to autumn, winter, and think I don't want to be in that light and that heat. I don't like it. But I got Let It Go, Say Goodbye. Like, let that season go and be in the new one. This is how I see this. I mean, you know, give it, wish it well, and then be in the now. And that was so good. So for Beltane, let's see what we have got. We've got things are easier than you think. Hey, pretty cool, huh? I said I was going to go ages ago, didn't I? Now I will go. But I'll show you that stuff. I'll make that video. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful week. Bye.